What's going on, folks? Adrian here. Welcome back to the channel. We have a massive MMO news drop weekend to go through. Plenty has happened in the past week and I've covered some already, like Guild Wars 2's upcoming mount, among other things. So let's get straight to the good stuff, beginning with World of Warcraft. And boy, did we get some big info drops this week. Blizzard live streamed an hour of patch 8.2 Rise of Ashara features that pretty much summed up all the content coming with the patch. And I'm not going to go through each feature in the interest of time, so I'll highlight the most important points that I think World of Warcraft players in general need to know about in case you missed the stream. Let's start with the changes to the Heart of Azeroth, the one progression system in BFA that everyone wants to see improved. With patch 8.2 Rise of Ashara, players will have access to the Heart Forge, which unlocks new powers for the Heart of Azeroth, and that's essences. The patch will give you access to one major essence slot, that big gold ring in the middle of the screen, and once you slot an essence in there, it unlocks its major and minor power as noted on the essence itself. And as you progress along, you'll unlock two other minor slots which only grants you the minor powers when slotted. The two small slots unlock at level 55 and 65 respectively. You'll have a wide variety of essences to pick from, and each caters to different playstyles, including role-specific ones. So where do essences come from? They can drop from almost every content in-game come 8.2, from questing to raiding and dungeons and even PvP. But to collect them all, you're going to have to dip your toes in everything. So if the essence you really want drops in PvP, then PvP you must. Essences also have different ranks, and the highest you can get are legendary, which means its ability is the best and alters your abilities aesthetically too. So when you fire off an affected skill, everyone will know that you have a legendary essence slotted. Is this going to save or improve the Azerite system down the line? To answer that, for those interested, you can jump into the PDR next week to test it for yourselves. It's going to be out for testing early because Blizzard apparently wants to allow more time for feedback to tweak this new system based on you. Next up, patch 8.2 will also bring the Pathfinder Part 2, which means flying will become unlocked with Rise of Ashara, letting you fly in all current BFA zones, including the two new ones coming up, SWTOR and Macagon. Unlocking flying will reward you with a golden mechanical parrot mount. And speaking of mounts, mount equipment is coming to World of Warcraft. This patch will let you equip your mount with some handy items, for example, a parachute to mitigate fall damage, water walking shoes, and stun prevention. Why this and why now? Blizzard said mounts have been imbalanced for quite a while. Take for example the Water Strider mount, a mount that everyone has but purely because of necessity. Mount equipments are looking to change all of that. The stream talked about so much more, from the open world activities of the two new zones, to the new heroic warfront, the new battleground, the two new island expeditions, the mega dungeon, the campaign, and the story. So if you want to know all the details right down to the last word, I've got a direct link to the stream itself below, plus the full comprehensive written guide from Wowhead if you prefer to read instead. If I've got the time, I'll jump into PDR myself and report back on patch 8.2 Rise of Ashara. The Elder Scrolls Online is in hot water this week, and players on the PC EU Mega Server know exactly what I'm talking about. Since the turn of the year, ESO's EU Mega Server has suffered numerous issues affecting in-game performance and logins. This has led to the EU servers being taken offline for maintenance more often than its counterpart server in North America. Players demanding explanations got exactly that this week from ZeniMax, as Matt Fire took to the forums to explain the situation. According to him, a severe influx of new players is to blame, on top of the EU in general sharing the same prime time, as opposed to North America, which has 5 different prime times. Whether or not you buy that, here's what the proposed fix is. First, ZeniMax will increase server capacity and upgrade hardware in the long term for both servers. For the short-term fix, ESO will be implementing a login queue system, which is already live, I believe, for the EU Mega Server. Worry not, the queue will only pop during peak times when the demand is higher than what the server hardware can handle. If you happen to disconnect, you should have a 20-minute grace period to log back in and skip the queue. It's not ideal, nobody likes login queues for EU folks on the PC, so let's hope they sort that out fast. For players on consoles, they will look into upgrading the hardware if necessary. Star Wars The Old Republic has dropped Game Update 5.10.2, Heralds of Victory this week, and guild leaders everywhere are understandably happy about this. New guild features are here, including the ability for guilds to create their own heraldry and displayed to all aspiring Padawans and Sith apprentices hoping to join the guild. You can play with symbols and colors and backgrounds to make your guild heraldry stand out, and sadly, because I'm not in a guild or don't have enough friends to start one, I can't show you footage of it, but BioWare has some previews on their website. Furthermore, the game's item preview panel has been completely rebuilt from the ground up, and the preview panel can now show you full armor stats, mounts, weapons, emotes, moods, and rest and recharge abilities as well, if this stuff is important to you. Otherwise, even better news for new or returning players to SWTOR, the Double XP event is back, and from April 16th until the 23rd, you can earn double experience and command XP from activities in-game. We also have a bunch of news about Black Desert Online. We've covered that the Shadow Arena shut down earlier in the week in the last couple of videos, so what else is new? Well, the entire Black Desert franchise across the board, from all the PC versions to the Xbox One version and the mobile version as well, has made over $1 billion in total gross sales, as announced by Prolobis themselves this week. That is a lot of money for an MMO franchise that doesn't use a subscription model. Secondly, the mobile version of Black Desert will be releasing globally in Q4 this year, according to Prolobis' CEO Robin Jung. 30% of that $1 billion in sales came from the mobile version alone, so I guess it's a no-brainer to push that out to a global audience. Therefore, expect BDO on your phones by the end of this year. Alright, let's head on over to Neverwinter. The free-to-play MMORPG has its latest Undermountain expansion coming out later this month, of course, and with it a ton of changes to classes, content, and more. To help newcomers and returning players prepare for Undermountain, there's a catch-up event going on right now until April 23rd that grants players double the experience points for your character and companions for professions and double the glory for PvP as well. This is perfect if you're trying to level another character or an alt character in time to level 70 due to the upcoming class changes, and as a reminder, XP comes from killing things, quest rewards, and invocations. Here's an interesting one. Rift now has a battle pass, and season 1 of this battle pass is now live in-game. Yes, a seasonal battle pass like your favorite battle royale games. What is this battle pass? First of all, it costs $10 and it opens up a seasonal progression system where players can level up their pass until level 30 for the duration of the season by completing daily and weekly quests. You get 4 dailies and 3 weeklies per week to do, chosen at random, but these are not new content. These are pulled from existing quests in-game. As for the 30 levels of rewards, well, you're watching them on screen right now, and they're split up between free, premium, and patron, so expect each tier to contain rewards depending on if you've spent money or not. There's no end date for season 1 yet, but plenty of time to complete them, I guess. Just before I move on here, I just want to say I don't think this is a good idea, and I'm sure this one came from new owners Gamigo. Rift diehards will no doubt be happy to buy this and support the game on top of your monthly patron subscription, but this isn't money for the type of content that I would personally pay for, but I guess it's one way to keep Rift alive, I suppose. Elsewhere, some rather interesting developments are happening over at NeoWiz Bless Studio, the developers of the now infamous Bless Online, of course. The studio is dissolving and will merge back into their parent company over in Korea, which is NeoWiz, by June 2019. The reasons for this include enhancing management efficiency and enhancing corporate value. So the important question to ask right now is, what is going to happen to the last remaining version of Bless Online? Since all the other regional versions of Bless Online is now dead, one might speculate that the last remaining Bless Online may be yanked too, either shut down shortly after, sold off, or put in maintenance mode for the foreseeable future. I wouldn't rule any of those options out, because Bless Unleashed, the Xbox version, is looking like where NeoWiz will put all its focus and money into as sort of like the last resort for the IP. So keep your eyes on this one to see what the fate of Bless Online is going to be. Are there any Blade and Soul players out there? Here's something you ought to be aware of. The game's North American and EU servers are consolidating on April 24th. No official reason given except this will bring players together in an MMO, duh, but you could put the pieces together and say player numbers aren't great right now, so ultimately combining the servers is a good move that benefits all Blade and Soul players. The Zulia server will merge into Yura for North America, while the Eisenhurst and Naxun servers will merge into Jin So Yun for EU. If you have any items of note in your character's mailbox or bank or other storage places, I suggest just removing them and keeping them in your character's inventory before the 24th of April, just in case. News from TERA now, and the game's latest update, Skywatch New Heights, has arrived on the PC. The update increases the level cap from 65 to 70, and you can start your journey to the new level cap by picking up the Nightmare Begins quest chain, and I expect it'll throw decent leveling gear at you along the way, as I found out with my experience for my review. There are new big-ass monsters to deal with in the open world called Field Bams, which has open tapping so that everyone can share the XP and loot when killed, and there's also a new skill advancement system and gear fusion systems for character progression too. Lastly, and I think TERA players overall will like this, due to feedback, dungeons have been overhauled. Instead of a limited number of daily entries, you now receive a weekly supply of adventure coins to enter dungeons. The cost of entry scales based on the dungeon difficulty, and adventure coins regenerate whether or not a player is online. Let's give this a month or more to see what the feedback about this new system is, because limited dungeon entry in the old system was kind of a downer. Sticking with TERA, Netmarble has announced that it will be making a prequel game to the MMORPG called TERA Origin. We don't know much about it yet, except the official teaser website is up and it will be an action RPG game. And it's been possibly confirmed for the PC, but it's guaranteed to be confirmed for Android and iOS. This won't be the first TERA game to hit mobile, as there's already a TERA Mobile in Korea, so until there's more to talk about, there's nothing else worth mentioning except expect a prequel game, you TERA players out there. And that's all I've got for now, folks. If there's news for a game that you play that I didn't cover, share them in the comment section below with the rest of us. If nothing major drops during the week, I'll see you all for the next MMO news drop next weekend. Hit the like button if you enjoy the content, and feel free to subscribe to the channel for more on MMOs and get notified on all my latest uploads. Once again, I'm Adrian, and I thank you for watching. Hey folks, thanks so much for watching that video. If you guys want to watch more, you can click the subscribe button at the bottom there or somewhere over here. And don't forget to hit that bell to get notified on all my latest videos. So I'll see you guys at the next vid. Take care.